What is up, everybody? This is Mark coming to you from 90% Sports. I'm joined by Jeff.
What's up?
And we are here doing the Big 12 Conference Preview Show. We got a few things to talk about today. We'll just go ahead and start off with changes, just like we did with the other conferences. If you haven't watched already, we have an ACC preview show, and we have an American Conference preview show that we've done previously if you want to check those out. The only change that really happened for the Big 12 is they got a new logo.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they took out their little ribbon thing going across the 12. They put Big 12 Conference at the bottom of their logo. That's only going to be on some of their logos. The other ones will actually just be the Roman numerals.
It'd be a Big 12.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like the new logo. I don't know. Like, it makes it more bold and kind of sticks out to you a little more. I like how they change it to red instead of just a dull, boring gray.
Well, they'll have it in team colors.
Right.
But, the general use is red.
Yeah. It also adds, like you were saying, they could customize it to where, if certain teams are playing or if you're designing the field, you could change the color and it's not going to look awkward like it would if you changed it from a, say, gray with the red ribbon across. If you change that, it might look a little awkward. I like the design of it. What's your thoughts on it?
Could be worse. Could be better. Could be worse.
True.
Yeah. It gets a lot of crap for it has a feel of being a Texas-based logo. And I'm not just talking the state of Texas. I'm talking about UT in
Right.
Austin.
Yeah, you can kind of see a little Longhorn thing going on there. So I could see where people come up with that. It's definitely, much more than just a Texas conference. I know they have 4 teams from Texas in the conference, but it's more than just a Texas conference. You got more than just the 4 teams there. You got 2 in Oklahoma, 2 in Kansas, 1 in Iowa, 1 in West Virginia. Multiple teams. I could see where people are going to get a little bit mad about that, but I mean, I don't think they intentionally designed it to look like Texas or anything. But there is another change going on in the Big 12, so I'll throw it over to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
What is going on at Oklahoma State?
Oak State, Okie Light, whatever you want to call them. The NCAA cut back their practice time.
Uh-oh.
Because they didn't reach that 930 4-year average you have to have in the academic progress rate. Here's how close they got. They had 929.41. If they had made it to 929.50, it would have rounded up.
See, that's always the age-old situation when you're in high school and that teacher doesn't round it up. You're at 89.41, and they
Not
won't
even that.
They won't round it up that little 0.9.
I had a teacher that would not round at all.
Oh, see.
I had an 8981. I was like, are you kidding me? Just give me the A.
You see,
Just give me the A.
that's when you walk into the classroom and you're like, I got this Reese's bar. What can we work out here? What can we do?
And then she says, I'm allergic to chocolate.
I don't know how that's going to work with the NCAA. I mean, hey, if all it takes is a Reese's bar, I'm sure Oklahoma State could do it.
I mean, they got T. Boone Pickens.
Yeah, there you
That
go. It's
guy's
just
loaded. We all know the NCAA loves money. How'd they not get out of this?
if they love money, why don't they love Reese's? That's all I'm saying.
Reese's are as good as money.
You've heard it here first on 90% Sports. The NCAA does not love Reese's.
So,
So
they're un-American.
with all of this being said, we're going to transition into something that actually means something. And we're going to go to the offensive MVP. So, Jeff, I will throw it to you for your first pick. Who is the offensive MVP for the Big 12?
We are staying in the Sooner State, but we're getting away from Stillwater and going over to Norman. And it is Trevor Knight
Nice.
for Oklahoma, the quarterback. He can do what he did in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, where he just cut that defense apart. In a conference where the only real defense you're going to face, at least this year, is TCU.
Yeah.
If he can do that again, week in, week out, he's going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
He's going to put up a ton of yards.
I mean, especially that was, Alabama. I mean, one of the top defenses in the nation, playing in the SEC, known for defense, the whole conference.
He threw for 4 touchdowns and 348 yards.
Right.
Against Bama.
Nick Saban. Come on. Like,
Saban, bless you.
you don't dream that someone could do that. You can't do that in most video games. I mean, it's crazy. My offensive MVP, I am going to go down to Texas, going to go to Baylor.
Ah.
All right. They got their quarterback, Bryce Petty. And last year, obviously, their offensive juggernaut. I mean, I don't see how he's not going to win it this year. I mean, 4,200 yards passing last year, 32 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, this kid is ridiculous. Even though they lost in the Fiesta Bowl to UCF, he still put up 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. He started the game out kind of slow, but they started picking it up towards the middle of the game. He has what it takes to be a quarterback at the highest level in college sports. He's 6'3", 230, good arm, makes good decisions. Doesn't really turn the ball over that much, obviously, with his 32-3 touchdown to interception. I just think they're going to be
crazy with how much they throw it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're throwing the ball all the time, I mean,
picks happen.
He had 403 attempts. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's almost every single time you're passing the ball. So if they can keep the offensive juggernaut alive this coming year, then definitely see him winning it. That being said, we will transition over to the defensive side of the ball. And who is going to be your defensive MVP?
If we had a comeback player of the year, it'd be the same guy. It's Devontae Fields, D-end for TCU. He only saw game time in 3 games last year, so like quarter time, he only had 1 start. Didn't play that much at all. Had 2 tackles for loss, 4 tackles total.
Right.
As a true freshman in 2012, he's played in all 13 games for the Frogs, started all 13 games, 53 tackles, 18.5 tackles for loss, 10 sacks. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And that was the first year they were in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, coming in as a freshman and doing, as good as he did that year, it's obviously a great pick. All right, so with my defensive player of the year for the Big 12 conference, I'm going to go over to Kansas, but not the Jayhawks. I'm going to go to the Wildcats of Kansas State, and I'm going to go with Ryan Mueller. Defensive end. Last year had a pretty good season, a lot of sacks. He had a decent amount of tackles too. He's 6'2", 245. He's kind of a smaller defensive end compared to a lot of
probably just be an outside linebacker eventually.
According to he's a little undersized, but with that he makes up for with quickness, and that's how he's able to get a lot of the tackles that he does get. And a lot of his tackles are actually solo tackles too. He has the strength to bring them down on his own. He doesn't really need help. Can help a lot in the running game and in one-on-one situations on the outside and things like that. After we picked our players of the year for the conference, we will move over to the sleeper teams.
Yeah.
Who is going to be your sleeper team from the Big 12?
Seems kind of odd to say this, especially with Bill Snyder still there, but I'm going to go with the Wildcats of K-State. They were 11-12 2 years ago and had that year ruined by that Baylor game and then lost to Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl. Then last year they were 8-5 and they actually lost to North Dakota State. 8-5. They were 7-5 after the regular season and they beat Michigan in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl.
There you go, Buffalo.
Let's go to B-Dubs right now.
B-Dubs.
I think they might get to 10 wins this year. Come out of nowhere.
Yeah. It'd be a good season for them, 10 wins.
Yeah.
I think my sleeper team, I know they're a big name team. Based on the last few years, it's still kind of considered a sleeper team. I'm going to go with Texas. I think they're actually going to come out with a breakout year. They got
Charlie Strong's first year.
Yeah, and they got a new offensive coordinator. They got a new defensive coordinator. Pretty much just changing the whole coaching staff, which I think is something that was needed. Program was kind of going downhill and it's kind of stagnant. I mean, there was no growth. There was no getting better or anything. So I think with the new coaches, they will be able to get in some new good recruits. I think with the recruits that they had from the previous couple of years, Strong is going to be able to improve them.
Sean Watson's the offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't expect their offense to be too flashy. That was a big thing with Louisville fans. He was really conservative with his offense, but that's Charlie Strong's mantra. He get it done on offense and he's a defensive coach.
Right. Yeah, just dominate on the defensive side. So, hopefully they turn it around. You always like to see, a big name team like Texas doing good.
Yeah.
Who is going to be your pick to win the conference this year?
It's kind of a homer pick for me. My best friend goes there, and I've liked this team for years, even before she went there. TCU.
All right.
They were 4-8 last year. Some travesty. But the defense was still great. And I think with Sonny Cumbie and Doug Meacham coming in as the new co-offensive coordinators, they're going to install the air raid.
Right.
If they can get that offense even half level potency, they have a good shot to win the Big 12.
Right, and I would like to see that, and more teams in the college ranks is having the double offensive coordinators. I think that's a kind of a cool thing, you know. Two minds better than one. So, my pick, I'm going to go with Baylor. Last year, you know, they put on a show on offense. I don't see it changing at all this year. I think they're going to be a team to compete, maybe even get into the playoff. I mean.
So you mean in a conference dominated by offenses, we both like two really powerful offenses?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I see them being able to contend, you know, for the playoff. You know, if they do make it to the playoff, they'd be close to New Orleans, so they might get that kind of home field advantage going on there. And then if they make it to the finals, of course, you know, right in Texas,
right up
down
the
the
road.
street.
Waco's
So,
not that far from Arlington.
yeah. So that is our conference preview for the Big 12. So that'll do it for me and Jeff. And this is 90% Sports. Go ahead and look for our upcoming videos. We're going to have some on all the other conferences coming up. Be sure and check back for more.
10% bananas.